Welcome back, traders. Today we are looking at CleanSpark. I'm going to get into this a little in depth. I've started accumulating CleanSpark, so I feel like it's really important to go over the levels and look at what I'm thinking about for CleanSpark today. Currently, I'm just looking at this chart, and I instantly am going to say that this chart looks bad. You can see right here, this broke out of this downward channel here, which, I mean, even if I were to drag a little further to encompass this candle here, we're still outside of it. Doesn't matter. I like to keep that a little tighter though and look at these as outliers. Yeah, that's out of it. This is definitely looking like a head and shoulders. You got left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and you got a neckline. Honestly, neckline was here, and we closed below that neckline. We might back test it up here around like $9, and then if we fail at $9, we're filling this gap down here at 775-ish, and there's zero support there. So the next support is, and its weak support is around $7, and then after that, we're coming down probably to these levels around $5-6 again. So that's what I'm seeing on the daily. Let's look at the hourly, or even the 2 hours. Let's take a look at both of those, honestly. That. All right, let's take a look at both of those. First, let's look at the hour. Hourly, we are stepping down. You see how we come down, flat, down, kind of flat, backward up on this double bottom here, but we bled off and came all the way down under, tried to recover here, came down. I think we're going to do the same thing here, where we're going to try to recover, come to the bottom of this channel here around, $8-9. Well, $8.90 to $9, and then fail there at the neckline and come all the way down to 7, maybe even 650 here, which is where we have a bit of support in the back here. And it's going to be what? Yeah, there's support back here as well. It's not very strong support. Honestly, the strongest support is down at $5. We might see $5 CleanSpark again, and that would be fine by me. I've got a small position in CleanSpark. I'd like to expand that position a little further. That would be great. And I think $5 would be a fantastic place to do that. I do have some leap calls on my CleanSpark, on CleanSpark right now that are underwater and would do very badly if it went down to $5, but those don't expire until 2026. So I'm not too concerned. I have time. I can wait it out. I can wait for price to come back to $10, $11, $12 without really losing any money, because theta decay doesn't really start hitting your options until about 45 days. So as long as I'm in the money, at least 45 days or more before the expiration, then I should be okay on those. So even if it comes down to $5, honestly, I'm just going to buy more leap options on them. And this is not financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any securities or assets of any kind whatsoever. It's just what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about when I look at these charts. All right, so CleanSpark, let's see, what's this one? The balance sheet on Simply Wall Street, still looking good. We got everything except this last one here. Insufficient data to determine if CleanSpark has cash runway. They have cash runway. We're not too concerned about that. Their debt is looking great. I mean, their assets compared to their liabilities, they only have $10 million in long-term assets, and they have $650 million in long-term assets. That's fantastic. Their short term is a little more even. They have 74 million in short-term liabilities and 102 million in short-term assets. So that's not great, but that's still a solid 26% more in assets than liabilities for the short term. And the halving comes up in just 2.5, 3 months. So they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it there. It's pretty clear they're going to make it to the halving. So let's take a look, see here at, oh yeah, this is the Compass Mining. They did their update. CleanSpark's right here, fourth from the left. They've got 10 exahash. They mined 720 Bitcoin last month. That was in the month of December, which is the third highest out of all of the Bitcoin miners. So that's Marathon did more, and Core Scientific, which is coming out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They mined more than them as well, but as you can see, they hold no Bitcoin and sold 100% of all of the Bitcoin they mined this month, which means they're still working on that bankruptcy, which just keeps me pretty far away from them. Even if they're doing well, I'd want to see them start building up a hodl and just do, honestly, better, which they're working on it, but currently I'm not interested. Anyways, They have the fourth highest Bitcoin hodl, and it is growing fast. Take a look at that here in a moment. But they barely sold what, not even half of the Bitcoin that they mined last month, even though the prices were super inflated in December, and they could have got some pretty fantastic prices on their Bitcoin in December. They didn't sell any, or they didn't sell that much of it. They sold less than half. You can see Bitfarms, they sold a little, almost all of theirs for last month, which makes sense because last month was a really profitable month. A really profitable month to sell Bitcoin. You can see Bit Digital. This actually made me happy. I know this isn't a Bit Digital video, but they sold almost none of the Bitcoin that they mined last month in December. That's fantastic. Remember the last 2 months before, in October and November, they were selling like double or triple the amount of Bitcoin that they were mining. This month that decreased, and that's good. I also want to, in a future video, talk about the fact that a Ethereum ETF is in the works, and there are talks about that now. And Bit Digital is the only publicly traded miner I know of owns and stakes Ethereum. So Bit Digital is getting back into my good graces. They also have plans to double their hash rate, which is exceptionally low compared to their peers right now. So with Ethereum ETF doubling their hash rate, Bit Digital is getting back to my good graces with that, and they're selling a lot less of their Bitcoin. I'm really rooting for them to do well, not just because I hold over 1,000 shares, but they're doing things I like again. So that's making me a little bit happy and less concerned. Like I sold a little more than half of my position just because of the fact that they were making some decisions I didn't really care for. But it seems like they might be turning it around, so I might be interested again here soon. All right, let's get back to Clean Spark. Let's scroll down here. We got this. One second. There it is. You can see here two things about them that were really interesting. In 2023, they increased their Bitcoin holding by over 1,000%, by over 1,200%. So that is 12 times the amount of Bitcoin that they had last year. That gives me hope for them going forward. That makes me very interested in their business model, very interested in their mining operation, and has prompted me to start buying their shares because of the fact that they are mining a lot and they're retaining a ton of it. So that's pretty fantastic. They also currently have 10 exahash is what they are operating at, and they have a plan to expand that by 12 exahash. So they're going to more than double their mining ability, and they're going to do it with the Antminer S21s. I believe those are the ones that did been provided like 190 terahash or something per unit, something like that. It was the better ones, I believe. I'll have to look that up here in a moment, as I did it in a previous video. Let's see here. Yeah, all right. And they also have the option to increase their exahash by their hash rate by another 20 exahash on top of that. So that would quadruple, right? Quadruple their hash rate, which would be ridiculous. So I'm quite interested in that. This is very similar to the same deal that Bitfarms had and Cipher Mining had. So I'm pretty sure they all got pretty much the same deal from the provider there for that. So let's have a look see here at Bitcoin real quick. So this is Bookmaps. If you don't have bookmark maps or you have never seen Bookmaps, so it's free for cryptos. So this is Bitcoin right now that it's looking at. It's pretty expensive if you actually want to look at stocks. So I don't currently pay for it, but this is the free version, and you can see this is Bitcoin. These dots here are volume dots. These lines are a buy and sell order. So you see the red here, that's where there's a bunch of orders. So if we come down to 42,560, there's a bunch of orders in place. And if we come up here, there's a bunch of sell orders. Not too many. It's kind of red up here around 4260, but then the closest above that is really big is 43,000. If we get out of this tight range from 42,650 to 42,550, if we break out of that range, which we've been in for a while now, if we break out of that, yeah, it's going to shoot up to 43, or if we break below, it's going to shoot down to 42. But you probably could have guessed that just on looking at the charts. And if we go even further out, like look at this above it, like there's like every 1,000, or at one point after 43.6, it's every $100. There's a big sell order up to 44,000 where there's a massive one. And if we go down here, I mean, we can fall far. We can fall all the way to 42, after 42 down to 41.5. It's kind of interesting just to see where all the buys and sells are sitting, and just like the volume coming through. So like we just had, it's kind of if we look here, it's just locked at this level right here. We'll look at the Bitcoin chart here. It's been locked here 40 between what 43.2 and 41.6 for since the ETF was announced a few days ago. So it's not really doing much. It's not moving a whole lot. Let's go to the 1 day, see what that looks like. We are currently out of this upward trend now, and we are creating a bear flag. Let me get rid of that. That was useless. We are creating a bear flag down here. That's what that looks like. That is a bear flag. Now, the RSI, no, RSI is at 36. It can move down further. Let's have a look, see at the volume profile. Volume profile has a lot of resistance above right now. So we're in this open space right here from, 42.5 down to 37. If this ends up being a bear flag, and this is looking very much like a bear flag currently, if it ends up being that, we're going down to 37,000 probably. We may not stay there very long, but we're going there if this is a bear flag. Keltner channels. So we're currently in a Bollinger Band Keltner channel squeeze. That means is that the Bollinger Band has tightened up enough to be inside of the Keltner channels. And it's been like that for, let's look, see here. It's been like that since December 21st. Even this big explosion in price up to 49,000 did not end that squeeze. Now, usually when we get a squeeze, you can see it back here. Usually when we get a nice tight squeeze in the Bollinger Band, Keltner channels, we get a big explosive move up, usually. Now, it doesn't always need to be that. It can be, as you can see back here, we were in one for, let's see, from July 10th until August 15th, and it exploded down. So it could go either way on that. My thought is since it went up so much and has been going up since October 24th dramatically, that we're going to see a move down. And I think that move down is going to take us to the bottom of the Keltner channel, which is going to be around 39, 38,000. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to retest this upward ascending trend line here. And I think that's what the squeeze is telling us right now, is that price is setting up with this bear flag to come down to test this ascending trend. And CleanSpark is reflecting that. A lot of the miners are reflecting that as well. I'm going to actually do a recording on my phone here for a moment, and I'll put that over the chart here just to show the Sage tracker for CleanSpark. So if we go into the CleanSpark Sage tracker, let's have a look-see. You can see Q3, lots of buying, Q4 not so much. But if we go over here and we go to ownership, who owns the most? BlackRock owns the most. They own 6% of the company. Vanguard owns 4%. State Street, huge hedge fund, owns 3.99%. Invesco owns 2.9%. So let's look at the price they each paid. BlackRock owns this stock at $7.51. So that's right here, right there, right where the gap fill is. All right. So this is clearly where they bought back here in December 1, I guess, and then just popped it up from there. 751 is where they bought. 622 is where Vanguard picked up. That's all the way down here to this next level of support that I drew. It's a little, my support line's a little bit above that, but you get the picture. State Street's at 604. I don't have anything at 604. And then Invesco's down at 265. I don't think it's going to get back down to 265. They're doing very well on this. That's, kudos to them, I guess. They're doing super good. Goldman Sachs is at $4. So I don't see it going much lower than that, but I also don't see any reason for it to be held up this high off of institutional support. They've bought their positions. They're just holding for the bull run now, probably. I mean, they may have even sold back up here and are looking to get back in or at that same level around that 750. But I'm looking for the gap fill down here to like 750, 760, maybe even wicking down to 640. Follow. We are currently oversold on the RSI. We are currently oversold on the RSI. If I bring in, let's see, the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channel. So we're not in a squeeze. We were before, though. We went to a bit of a squeeze here for back here, and that kind of broke down, and then we gained some ground, and then we did another squeeze and broke down again on CleanSpark, as you can see right in here. Let me make that a little bit bigger. You can see on the hourly here, we started a squeeze on January 10th, and on January 24th, we saw that completely break down, and we're now not quite to the bottom of the Bollinger. We're outside of the Keltner channel, which means we probably need to come back up a little bit. And if I go look at here, yeah, well, I mean, we're touching the 5 hour. Let's look on the daily for that, actually. On the daily, the 5 is up at 971, 972. That's how fast we're coming down. The 50, we're about to come in contact with the 50-day moving average. If we break below the 50-day moving average, we're going to have a bad time. But we are currently outside of the lower Bollinger on the daily, which means that we're probably going to see a bit of a bounce here. And like I said, I think we're going to bounce off the bottom of this channel here, or reject off the bottom of this downward channel here. I think that's what we're going to see. Let me extend that actually, lock it down. I think we're going to come up to this tomorrow or within the next 2 days around $9. And I think we're going to reject there. And then we're going to shoot past this 50-day moving average for a few days or weeks. I really think that's going to happen. Now, I could be wrong. And just in case I am wrong, I have been buying shares of CleanSpark. I won't get as many shares as I would like if I end up being wrong, but I'm buying some just in case I am wrong. Hedging my bets, if you will. Because while I do think that could be the case, it might not be. And if it's not, and I'm wrong, then yeah, I don't want to be caught not having any shares of CleanSpark. And you can see we are oversold, so we are due for a bit of a bounce here to bounce off the 50, come back to at least the bottom of the Bollinger, maybe even when the 5-day it comes down to like 915 or something, we'll come and meet that, and then go for another leg down. I mean, because you can see even on the way up, we came up, came down, got close to the 50, took off from there, and just launched. So that's what I'm looking for here as well on CleanSpark. So that's it. That's the video for CleanSpark. I am currently looking at maybe a short few days of rally back up into the Bollinger ranges, test the bottom of this channel here, maybe even the center of this channel here over the next few days around 950. And then I'm expecting it to reject and come back down, fill this gap, and come down to support down here around 650-ish within the next few weeks. So that's it. That's all I got for you right now. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.